Hello, and welcome to the first video in the Bubble Critic Issue Tracking System tutorial video series. This video will be about setting up the issue tracking system. So here we have some forums all set up. If you would like to see how these forums were made, please watch the Bubble Critic Forums tutorial video series. So with this as a starting point, having these forums already set up, let's put an issue tracking system right into the middle of these forums. We do that by going here to the admin controls, and then we go to our topics, and where I would like to put the issue tracking system is going to be under games and then Super Bubble Battle. And then this topic already has two child topics. I want to add a third one, which is going to be the issue tracking topic. So when you create a topic, normally you just leave this drop down alone because you want to create a regular topic. But when you want to create an issue tracking topic, you click here and then you select issue tracking. And then it will give you an explanation of what an issue tracking topic is to make sure that this is really what you want to create. So yes, this is what I want to create, so I'm going to click OK. And then it gives it a default name of issue tracking. I'm just going to keep that. And then I'm going to click Create Topic. So when you add an issue tracking topic, it changes a lot of the properties of your forms. So in order for those properties to become enabled and for everything to display properly, it now must reload your web page. So I'm going to click OK. And then we're going to go back to the admin controls. When we come here, it now tells us that the settings tab has two subtabs. Before, these subtabs did not exist, but because we have an issue tracking system, now we have a main subtab, which is what we would normally find here, and then an issue tracking subtab, where we will find our issue tracking settings. So most of this video is going to cover what each of these settings are. But before we get into that, let's just look at the issue tracking system that we have just created. It is here under the Super Bubble Battle topic, and then now here as a subtopic, we have the issue tracking topic. So we will click on it, and then this looks quite similar to a regular topic, but it is actually an issue tracking topic that has its own feature set. The first thing that you may notice is that this says new issue, whereas normally this says new thread. So issues in this system are a lot like threads, but again, they have their own feature set. And then we have this button here for builds. And then the other difference is we have this filter button. So I'm not going to get into issues or builds or the filter. That will be covered in future videos. But I am going to quickly create a build and then an issue, because what good is an issue tracking system without either of those? So let's create a build. Again, I'm not going to get into the details of all this stuff. I'm just going to create a build which is 0.0.1. Now it's created, and I will close this, and then I will create an issue. And again, there's a lot of stuff to cover here, like the different issue types. But I'm just going to create a bug, and I'll just leave it open. I will put it in our new build, and let's give it a low priority. And let's say the bug is the level 7 boss is invisible. And the steps are get to level 7 boss, and that's it. Result, boss is invisible. Boss should be visible. All right, create issue. And there we go. We now have our first issue inside of our issues list. So right away, you can see it looks a little different from threads, whereas it has this title right here, and then it has the release build right here. Then it has this indicator right here, which shows the status of the issue. So again, all that stuff is for future videos. We got these buttons here, which are new. But yeah, for now, I'm just going to dive into the issue tracking settings. All right, first things first is this button here. Just like at the main tab, how we have this button, admin level 5, get to decide which privileges are associated with which title. So we have the same thing for issue tracking, where we can set up the privileges associated with each privilege set. Instead of it being moderator and admin, we now have dev, short for developer, and manager. So the lowest title here is dev level 1, and the highest title is manager level 3. Manager level 3 has all the privileges by default after you've created your issue tracking system. So whereas before, for the main settings, only the admin level 5 had access to this screen here, only the admin level 5 and managers level 3 have access to this button and this screen to set up the privilege sets. So just as I explained in the privileges video for the Bubble Critic forums, the privileges that each title has are the privileges of the title before it, plus any new ones that you add. So developer level 3 must have all the privileges that developer level 2 has, and then new ones that you turn on for that title. So these ones are green. You cannot modify these. So developer level 3 has all the privileges that developer level 2 has, plus developer level 3 will have these 4 privileges on top of those 4. And so the other titles just continue on. Here is manager level 1 and manager level 2, and then here's manager level 3. So those are the privileges associated with each developer and manager title. Meaning that when I apply one of these titles to another user, that user by default will get the associated privileges, which I will show you in a future video. So I just wanted to show you what this button does here, but now let's move on to the other settings. Privacy is a major feature in the Bubble Critic issue tracking system. It is such a big feature that privacy will have its own separate video. So I will not dive too deep into these settings, but let's take a look at this issues are public when screen. So first, I need to define public and private. Public means that every single user that comes to your forums has access to it. Private means that only the developers and managers have access. So by default, when you set up your issue tracking system, all issues in the system are public, as indicated by all these check marks here. So any denied issues are public, any issues that are open that do not have a priority are public, and so on. But let's say we want to keep all of the issues hidden, except when an issue is fixed and inside of a build that has status at least released. So we can apply this setting, and now every single issue inside of the system will be private unless it is in a released build. Then it becomes public for all users to see. So let's apply this. And then to quickly show what that did, let's look at this issue. And I should have pointed it out earlier, but this was a green circle right here, indicating that it was public. But now it's this red shield indicating that it is private. It is private because of those changes that we just made. So any regular users that come to this issue tracking system will not see this issue here. Okay, so let's move on to the chat. Privacy, chat, public or private. So if it's public, the chat room will be available to everyone. Any user, whether they're a developer, manager, or have no title, will have access to this issue tracking chat room. However, if it is private and I were not a developer or manager, this chat room would not show up here. So that's useful to give developers and managers their own private chat room to chat inside of. Okay, so let's move on to the privileges that users get by default. So right here we have users issues per day, and the default setting is 0. So any brand new user to the forums cannot create an issue and put it directly into the issue tracking system. But let's say we trusted all of the users. We could say that anyone who comes here can create 1 issue per day. So now anyone would be able to have this button enabled and would be able to create an issue, but just 1 per day. So that might not be the best idea to give users access to creating issues that go directly into the issue tracking system. So you might want to leave that 0. However, perhaps you want to reward the good contributors of your forums with the privilege of creating issues. That's where this comes in. So by default, users will unlock the ability to create issues per day at an average rate, which means that they have to create a lot of good content before they're able to have 1 issue per day. And then if they keep creating more good content, then this number could go up to 2, then 3, and then so on, so that the users who are the biggest contributors to the forums can also contribute issues to the issue tracking system. So if you don't like that idea and you only want developers and managers to ever be able to put an issue into the issue tracking system, you would leave this 0 and slide this down to 0. So the privilege would never unlock. Okay, and the last thing here is a very big feature, so I'm not going to dive too deep into it, as it will have its own video. But when you create an issue, you have the option of creating these 6 issue types by default. So let's take a look at that. When I create a new issue, the issue types are those 6 that we just saw. And then when you select one of them, like let's say new feature, some of the properties here change. Like this changed to say description, whereas before for bug, it says steps to reproduce, I believe. And then this question mark here tells you how to describe a new feature, whereas if I have it at bug, The question mark tells me how to report a bug. So all these settings, including the default text that goes into here, is editable. So you do that by going to this issue types screen. And then let's say I don't like the wording of something or new feature, I would click here. And then that help dialog I could change here. I could put in some default content. I can change the image, change the description, change the name, etc. I can even delete the issue type if I do not want it. And I can add a new issue type, which lets me create a new one from scratch. So again, there's a lot of stuff to explain there, so I'm not going to get into it. I just wanted to briefly explain how to set up your issue tracking system and modify a few of its settings. So if you'd like to know more and see some of these features more thoroughly explained, please continue watching the future videos. But there are two more things that I want to talk about in this video. The first thing is that issues have their own theme color. So if you watch the Bubble Critic Forum's appearance customization video, you will be familiar with these appearance settings. So before we looked at changing the appearance of topics and threads, but now that we have an issue tracking system, this right here has been added to our main settings under the appearance group of settings. So let's click on this. And then just like before, we have these same options. So by default, the theme color is orange, which is why this is orange, and then this highlight color is orange, and then this background's a little bit orange, this button's orange. And when you go to an issue, there's orange all over the place here. So let's just change that to no color in particular. Let's go with red. And then we can choose a background. This one's kind of nice. Let's do 225-degree angle. Make it a bit bigger. And then we'll just go with that. So that's how to customize the appearance of your issues. And now the other thing that I wanted to show you is that if you want an issue tracking system, you do not have to have all of these forums to install an issue tracking system. So right now we have all these topics with labels, and then this topic with its subtopics, etc. And then finally, through this whole hierarchy, we get down to the issue tracking system. But if we want the very top topic to just be the issue tracking system, we can do that. So let's go to the topics. As you can see, this home topic is the root topic, but I'm going to make that issue tracking system the root topic. So we go here to the issue tracking system, and the parent topic we will edit. We will say make root. And now when we close this, okay, it put home as a child topic of the issue tracking topic. That's not what we want. Let's go back. Okay, so then we will remove home. Say yes, and now close. There we go. You no longer have any of those topics. The forums are simply just our issue tracking system. All right, but when you remove a topic, it doesn't get deleted. So I'm going to say as the child topic, I want to add an existing topic, and I want to add home, then I will go to home, and I will make it root. And then it put issue tracking under home, so let's remove that and put it back to where it goes. Super Bubble Battle, child topic, existing, and then issue tracking. There we go. Now it's back to normal. And it's all set up like it was. And so that's that. That's the issue tracking system all set up and ready to go. And this will conclude the video. In the next video, I will dive into the custom issue types. So we will play around with all these settings and we will see what each of these does. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching.